All right, this one asks for the interval, but we'll get there. I want to do the radius first. And how do you do that? Limit, we're using a ratio test. N goes to infinity. The absolute value, x to the n plus 1 over the root of n plus 1. And that's going to be 9 to the n plus 1. And we're dividing by an. This is an again. That's like multiplying by its reciprocal. And what's that going to be? Well, the root of n, and then you're going to get, 9 to the n, and what do you get at the bottom? X to the n. I need to simplify that. And you're going to get, certainly inside the absolute value, you're certainly going to get an x. You're going to get a 9 in the bottom. I want to point out I'm looking at over here. This gives me the x. That gives me a 9 in the bottom. And this is going to be, the root of, all right? I'll write this down as a root of n over n plus 1, absolute value. Now looking at it, I got to take the limit. I want to point out the x and a 9 really nothing to do with it at this point. I'm looking at as n goes to infinity, and that's going to be just 1. If I looked at that root, it's n over n plus 1, and it's going to be 1. So what do you get over here? This thing equals the absolute value of x over 9, and that's got to be less than 1. What do you do over here? Well, it's fairly easy to do. It's the absolute value of x less than 9, which means x is between 9 and minus 9. But I got to test these endpoints out. All right, so each endpoint needs to be tested. This endpoint and this endpoint. Let's try the 9 first. So this means x is equal to 9. That's the endpoint. I don't know if it's equal to it yet, but we're going to test that. When I say equal to it, do I include it? Let's write this down. You get the sum, n equals 1 to infinity. That's going to be 9 to the nth power over the root of n, right? And then you get 9 to the nth power. Well, these things cancel off. What are you left off with? N equals 1 to infinity, 1 over n to the 1/2 power. This is a divergent p-series. I don't include that. All right, let's try the minus 9. What do you get over here? You get the sum, n equals 1 to infinity. You get, minus 9 to the n. On bottom, you get the root of n. And you get 9 to the n over here. What do I get over here? N equals 1 to infinity minus 1 to the nth power over root n. And this is a convergent series. What test we use in Leibniz test or the AST? The limit is n goes to infinity of an. I'll put out what an for this one is over here. It's 1 over the root of n. The limit is, n goes to infinity of an is 0, and the terms are decreasing, all right? So what do I get over here? I'm going to include it. So what's the interval going to be? The interval is going to start at minus 9. It's going to include it, and it's going to go up to 9, but not include it. That's the interval. Now, granted, there's work written over here for you. You may want to look through that. Certainly when I type things up, it looks a lot neater than my chicken scratch, and you want to aim for that as well. So, go through it. What do we get in the end? This over here. And that's what we want to get. We want to match those answers. Thank you.